Hi, Stephen from OWNorDisown. Just bought the MSI PS63 Modern 8SC. It's their prestige line for business travelers. I actually saw this at CES in January, and what struck me was, of course, it's got long battery life. They claim about up to 16 hours of battery life. It has you can have an options with dedicated graphics. You start off at $1,000 with just the Intel graphics, or you can get the GTX 1050 for $1,100, and that's what I saw at CES. Now we've been upgraded to the GTX 1650 Max Q with 4 GB of VRAM. So that should be about 15% faster than a 1050 Ti, and actually make it fairly capable playing games at 1080p at high settings. And of course it still has big battery life. Now if you're looking at the specs here, we've got the i7-8565U. That is a 15 watt TDP part, but it should be able to boost up to 25 watts. So it's 4 cores, 8 threads, and as I say, it's got the GTX 1650. It has an NVMe SSD, 512 gigabytes, but it should be 2 slots. There should be another M.2 slot that is SATA only, and also the one populated is SATA or NVMe. Now it supports DDR4 2400 megahertz RAM. It'll come with dual channel, 16 gigabytes, so 2 sticks of 8 gigabytes. And so let's have a look. This is the first look, and we'll do a quick test on it, of course, and we'll of course the review will follow. So it's nicely packaged. Everything's nice and bright and white. So we have the quick start guide here. Now it has I think it's an 82 watt hour battery, something like that. So it should last quite some time, and it's pretty light, I must admit. Now it's got like a blue-grey type tinge to it. Now it's aluminium build back, and the top is aluminium, and the keyboard deck is aluminium as well, and that just feels nice. And you'll notice you've got a huge trackpad, which is very good with embedded fingerprint reader. That is very nice. The keyboard lighting should just be white, but that shouldn't bother too many people. And the panel is 15.6 inch IPS 1080p. And it's fairly rigid, of course, with it being made out of aluminium. So underneath you have an air intake here, which looks fairly decent. Some decent hang feet at the back, making it higher to allow the airflow. You've got the speakers fired downwards here. They're 2 watt speakers, and one thing I noticed is a factory seal over a screw. Not a great fan of that, so take note of that. Otherwise, it is just Phillips head screws to get inside. Now I do like it. I do like how light it feels. Now the power supply should be a 90 watt brick. You've got a very small power brick here, which is very nice. It's a barrel connector, so it's not USB-C, but we do have some extra in the packet here. Alright, they supply a dongle, USB type A to Ethernet dongle there. So a 90 watt brick. So it will be interesting to see if it does charge up by USB-C though. It's because that is a barrel connector. On the left hand side we have the power connector, HDMI port, a USB-C port here with display port, and we have a USB 3.1 type A port, and this has got the quick charge 3, so 4 times faster for charging your phone, and it works with your phone, the laptop off to power up your phone, which is nice, and a combo headphone mic jack. And on the right hand side we have a micro SD card slot, no full side SD, which is a shame. We have 2 USB 3.1 type A ports, a Gen 2 and a Gen 1, and you've got a nice taper design. So round the back, it's quite a nice clean look. We do have the 2 air vents, of course, so when the laptop is opened up, it'll exhaust into the screen area, which is quite a common design on these thin laptops. So let's see how much it weighs. Like at 3 pounds 11 ounces. That's pretty lightweight, and with the power brick we're only talking 4 pounds 6 ounces. That's very nice. And in terms of footprint compared to my XPS 15 2-in-1, it's pretty much identical, I would say. And here's it comparing the thickness to my XPS 15 2-in-1, and it's actually slightly thicker. I wanted to show you the difference in the keyboards between the XPS 15 2-in-1 and the MSI PS63 here. And what I really do like, you've got much bigger keys here. Look at the width here. It certainly better utilizes the space. So I do like the much bigger keys, bigger delete key, everything, bigger arrow keys. So a big improvement. Key backlighting is indeed white. One thing to note, the FN key is over here to the right hand side, and there's looks like there'll be 3 levels of brightness. Here we're comparing the screens, the MSI PS63 versus the XPS 15 2-in-1. I'd say they both look pretty similar. The hinges are pretty stiff on both. 5.6mm bezels on the MSI, but still not quite as thin as on the XPS 15 2-in-1. But you do have the webcam up top here. So you do have software. It's called the Creator Center software. If you activate it, you have shortcuts to like Vegas Pro 6 and the Magic software if you have it all installed. And of course then you have options to look at the various metrics, the CPU temperatures and usages, that type of thing. And what we have here, you have high performance, balanced, silent, super battery mode, and different fan options. Now I've got it on Cooler Boost, which is their max fan speed, and I'm running AIDA64, just a CPU stress test here, and it's only been going 3 minutes, and you can already see that the temperature spiked up to 98, and it's running consistently in the 90s here. So it's running very hot, and that's with max fan. So let's just switch it down to, instead of sport mode, let's put it into comfort mode and keep the same max fan, and see if that helps it bring actually, let's have a look. Yeah, comfort mode, and we'll just put it on balanced. And we should see the temperatures going down. Now before it was running around about 45 watts. Of course now we're down to around about 14 watts. So yeah, you see where that speaked up to about 40 watts before. Now it's back down to 15 watts. And it is running cooler. So, you know, I think you're going to have to just play around with these. Let's put it sort high performance, could kill it. So still put it on sport. It goes up high. So I think sport is definitely not an option. We have to keep this on comfort mode, unless there's an undervolt, of course. So we'll keep it on there, and then we'll run Time Spy at the same time. So interestingly, try running Firestrike or Time Spy with AIDA64 running in the background, I get a failed result every time. One thing I have determined is that the high performance mode is fine using the AIDA64 with comfort mode. Difference between comfort and sport: comfort makes the CPU run at 15 watts, sport at 30 watts, and it cannot cool 30 watts. So I wasn't able to get Time Spy to run, that would keep failing, but I did get Firestrike with 6,782 points and a graphics score of 7,910, physics score of 8,303. So there you have it, quick first look. My first impressions, well, I like how lightweight it is. It's certainly very portable, good for taking on the road. It seems to be fairly solidly built too. I don't like the sticker above the over one of these screws. I do not like that. Hopefully, you know, you can still get inside and do your upgrades, because there is one spare M.2 slot in there. I do like the keyboard. It's, you know, typing on it seemed to be very good. I like how big the keys are. That's fantastic. I also like the trackpad. That's very good with the fingerprint reader. Thumbs up to me. I haven't tested the speakers yet. Now my main concern from a performance perspective, you can use high performance mode, that's fine, but you can't use sport, not currently. Perhaps with an undervolt you might be able to do that. It's also expensive at around about $1,500, so it's putting it into the realms of the new XPS 15, and for that you do get a 6-core CPU versus a 15-watt 4-core CPU here. You know, so I'm not sure how the 1650 Max-Q in this would compare to the 1650 in the XPS 15, but that's something you perhaps want to consider. I'll certainly be testing some gaming and some general productivity tasks as well. So I'd like to thank you for watching. And actually, before I go, my two daughters have started a channel. It's been going for a little while. It's called We Are Sister Acts. And what I'm going to be doing is put a link in my descriptions going forward, and also at the end screen I'll be putting one of their videos. So if you've got any kids who like watching challenge videos, have some science experiments, I appreciate you pups giving them your support. Thanks again. Bye.